A very blessed evenings to you. Happy Sunday, baby. Ah, here he is. Good evening, guys. Hope everyone is well. Happy Sunday. Let's get this light on my eyes. There we go. Happy Sunday, guys. Hope you're all well and lit. Yes. I'm excited. I'm excited because we're heading into another new week. Love Sundays, right? Sundays is, wake up early. I mean, I'm always up early, but I wake up early, have my coffee, smell of that coffee, look outside, a beautiful sunshine, sip coffee, break down the markets, set selves up for a brand new week. Whatever happened last week, had a good week, right? The foundations are laid for this week, right? They're laid to build upon what was set last week, the tone, follow that tone. But then if there's a case that had a bad week, right, where, things just didn't go plan and according to plan, that happens sometimes. I love those as well because it motivates me even more. It's like, do you know what? Okay, that was a bad week, fine. But this week, business. Still going to stick to the same plan, but there's going to be more hunger there, more hunger. And I just, like, for example, last week I had generally a good week, had a bit of an off day on one day, which was actually down to myself. Is myself for trying to participate in the market when I was absolutely shattered. I went against something that I don't usually do, and I just did it. I thought I had enough energy in me, but I didn't. So I made like a couple of silly decisions on my side, which wasn't overly costly, but it's just it's unnecessary, right? When I should have just allowed myself to be fresh, but I wasn't. So anyway, guys, I'm just me babbling on. Hope everyone's week was blessed anyway, and you've had a good weekend. I know I have. I'm going to break down, obviously, the markets. If you just give me a few ticks, we'll get the markets broken down, see what's going on. Because if we start off, obviously, we will cover cryptocurrency, of course, as we always do, Bitcoin and peers. But I just want to talk about a couple of other things as well that's, noteworthy. And at the end of the day, all the financial markets are, they are all tied in. So let me bring up my charts. Bear with me one moment. We'll start off with, as we do, with the Bitcoin, and then we'll break everything down. Stay tuned because I'll be covering cryptocurrency, but I'm going to cover a couple of other things as well that we can take a look at together in the broader financial markets. Bitcoin, just going to share my screen in uno momento, guys, and just getting everything up here. Hey, man, there we go. So yeah, my charts. Okay, bosh, bam. Bam. Okay, guys, let me just bring this up here so I know that everything's working. So this isn't too good for Bitcoin right now. Okay, we had like a bit of reversal candlestick here. Obviously this week, this Sunday, this weekly closure is due to close in the next sort of few hours. Okay, but it followed up with this bearish candlestick here. So we had this bearish candlestick, evening star. Remember, we get these at the top of the trend, and to make way for that downside here. And obviously that's being seen. That's followed up. Bearish candlestick. So evening star, then we get the bearish closure below, which we're seeing this week. So it's just a confirmation. This candlestick this week confirms this. Okay, it's confirmation that now, okay, we're going to start trending to the downside. For now, okay? For now. I'm going to remove this Fibonacci now because I said keep an eye on this 38.2, keep an eye on the 50, and keep an eye on 61.8%. But it's dead. It's dead. It's pulling back, right? It's pulling back. So we're testing this sort of 42,500 area, right? Because previously it's support, it's resistance. Obviously we wicked there, but it's resistance. You get the point. Okay, so that's just support there in the past. Look, this area, where we're at now, there or thereabouts. So we've tested that. You can see we're trying to bounce there. If you look there on a daily, I'm not just making this up. I'm not just pulling this level out of my bum. It's actually a level, right? 42,500 where we've bounced. Structure, of course, is to the downside. Remember, if you look up here as well, there was an opportunity, as I said this the other day on the stream. There was an opportunity to run some shorts on this because, what we did do is formed upside, and we formed these consolidation patterns. Look at trading as we sold again. Okay, we're pulling back a little bit now. Expect probably to come right up at least to believe we're going to come right up to here, you know, around this region. Okay, come up to this supply area, just shy of, what was that, 44K? Nice and psychological. Come into here, and then I'll be watching this region for potential shorts. I like to sometimes, you know, like when we've had a trend line, like here, this is a trend line, right? Oh, I thought there's something by my foot. It's my own leg, my own shadow. I'm shattered. So, and then look, we've got a trend line here. I like to extend those because sometimes, for example, like this price action, when it comes up to here, it'll probably still end up respecting one of these two trend lines. So that's why I like to overextend them just in case. Yes, fine, breakout, but then when we do come up for the retest, we may still respect these trend lines, okay? So that's why I like to overextend them. But I'll be watching out for potentially this to play out and drop all the way to the downside, okay? So if you look on the daily with me, remember how previously we escaped this, you know, this trend line here. We've got our valid touches, fake out there, false breakout, you little manipulators, you buggers. Everyone got excited and then sold. Okay, but then finally we broke out, retested it. So I'm expecting for another pullback, big pullback now, given that weekly, as I explained here, and for us to come all the way down. Now, why do we pick up some pace? Don't go anywhere. So let's just bring up Forex Factory a minute. And we'll speak about this. And I'm going to speak about what's happening this week as well. So let's take a look at last week, okay? It's obviously just bringing up the economic calendar because, believe it or not, for those that don't know, cryptocurrency is still impacted by what's going on in the financial markets, the broader financial markets, right? This is key when we look at this, okay? Don't overlook it. Last week on Wednesday, we had the FOMC minutes. So for anyone that doesn't know, the FOMC is the central bank of the United States. So their meeting minutes showed that the FOMC are gearing up. They want to act faster in terms of raising interest rates to try and tackle rising inflation. We raise interest rates to try and cool down inflation. Inflation's been rising drastically in the US. So that's another potential reason why Bitcoin picked up some pace to the downside. Was this on Wednesday? I mean, it would be nice if it was, so then it ties in. Yes, push. Look at that. Big selling pressure. It ties in just on the back of and heading into FOMC. So FOMC on Wednesday, as you saw, minutes here, right? Minutes of the meeting, you know, Bitcoin under selling pressure in anticipation of, and obviously on the back of the FOMC that, look, they want to raise rates quick, faster, more aggressive. And this is why Bitcoin started coming off here, the back end of 2021, as the FOMC made it so clear, aggressive in their language. Man, we need to start hiking rates. So people taking their cash out of cryptocurrency and putting it in to, you know, into fixed income. So that's why Bitcoin sold off last week, in my view as well. It was obviously technical there, but we had a fundamental thing to go hand in hand. Thank you, FOMC. Technical and fundamental confluences go hand in hand, and Bitcoin comes off. Okay, so that's why this is selling off right now, and we're probably going to come all the way down towards sort of 38,000, just where these two trend lines meet. Okay, I would be surprised if we don't, but this is where we're looking. Okay, so long as we break down this 42,500, we should have a clean drop quite clearly. Look, clean drop. Okay, little retest, but then doof, you see, there's a lot of freedom to just travel to the downside from that area. Look here. Doof. You see that? There's a lot of freedom. It's weak. If this is broken down, it just falls. It's going to fall quite hard. Okay, so keep an eye on that, baby. All right. Yeah, so that's FOMC for you. Now, keep an eye on this week, FX guys and stocks guys. Keep an eye. Let me just show you something quickly as well. So just to tie in with Bitcoin coming under pressure, you can see dollar at the moment. Let me smooth this a minute. I'll talk about this quickly. The dollar's been aggressively pushing to the upside. I spoke about this on my stream earlier in the week as well. You know, why dollar's been rising, okay, and obviously why Bitcoin's been falling, because the FOMC action, okay, to come. Okay, aggressive FOMC action. So this is why dollar's pushing to the upside, because you know, if you're hearing as a foreign investor, you've got loads of cash, right? You want somewhere safe to put your money. You're hearing, okay, the FOMC are going to start raising rates. You want somewhere safe to put your cash. If you want to invest in US fixed income, in US safe haven investment, what do you need to invest? Dollars. So you're going to sell your Japanese yen, you're going to sell your euros, you're going to sell your pounds, or whatever currency you're trading in or you operate in, and you're going to buy some dollars. So dollars pumping, 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 pumping. Hey, 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 in anticipation of this Fed action. Bitcoin selling, selling, selling in anticipation of all this Fed action because people want to put their money in safe haven because the yields are getting tasty. You know, they're not really compared to what you can earn elsewhere, but they're tasty for the big boys, okay? You want to roll with the big boys? So that's why, okay? Now, let's just go back to Bitcoin a minute. I want to speak about something this week that I want you guys to keep an eye on. I don't know if let's just have a look here. So what's this week coming in? Oh my God, I'm going a bit fast here. So keep an eye on this with me, all right? Don't go anywhere. Listen to me, baby. Keep an eye on this with me. We got US CPI. You won't want to miss this one. Don't overlook it. 1.2% inflation expected to rise again. Look, to 1.2 from 0.8. You know, the core is expected to remain at 0.5%, but still very elevated. Okay, so you see how Bitcoin came off last week? You see how the dollar strengthened last week? If this number comes out higher than expectations, what do you think the dollar's going to do? What do you think Bitcoin's going to do? Dollar's going to continue to rise, okay? Any pullbacks that we see, Monday, Tuesday, understandably, because we've just been pumping, any pullbacks that we see with dollar, any rallies that we see with Bitcoin, we sell Bitcoin rallies. Any dollar pullbacks that we see, we buy dollar pullbacks. So you know the dollar's peers, if you see them strengthening against the dollar, GBP, Euro, those rallies are likely to be sold. Bitcoin, if we continue to rise and peers, likely to be sold as we look out for the CPI number if it comes out higher, okay? At some point, the FOMC trade, you know how everything's just dominated by FOMC right now, will die out, but right now it's dominating, okay? So keep an eye on this with me, okay, on Tuesday. Don't overlook it, all right, baby? So keep an eye on that on Tuesday, FOMC, okay? It's US CPI because it's big for FOMC. Let's take a look at some other things. I marked up like a downside scenario, didn't I, on my last stream for Ethereum. God, I mean, we didn't put a trade on this, but I was expecting this to come all the way back down for a retest. It probably still is. If you look on a weekly, okay, let's just go on a naked chart in a minute. You know, if we talk about this, still potential reversal candlestick there. If we end up closing below that, you know, you could... It's a bit of a push, but you could still deem that as like what we saw there with Bitcoin, a bit of an evening star formation at the top of the trend. I've got Euro Aussie here. Here. Similar sort of candlestick, not as clean as, but if we close below, that would just be a confirmation that we will sort of reverse. I don't really have any trade idea on that. XRP. Okay, I want to talk about XRP. I'm watching for this big retest here, because I put out a video on it, didn't I, on YouTube and on my Instagram, and I was just saying I'm loading up on more XRP, and I have, because of the SEC case where I said I believe that it will just be deaded out, basically. So anyway, obviously I broke this down technically, said this flag breakout, you know, this pennant breakout, and now we've sort of got a bit of a big retest here around sort of 75, 76 cents. So do keep an eye on that. You can see on the daily we've bounced around this region, but we're just hovering right now. But I don't know if this is going to be hold, to be honest with you, just as I've explained with Bitcoin, and obviously with the US CPI and the FOMC trade right now. FOMC trade, don't forget that, okay? Because that is dominating everything. FOMC. All right. What else do I want to talk about? I mean, that's pretty much it, to be honest. US yields, look. So this is US yields. Don't overlook this as well. So US yields is obviously, these are rising. These are rising right now in anticipation of the FOMC, the action to come from the FOMC. So the yield is the return that you're going to get on government bonds, right? As an investor. And look at them. Look where they're at right now. 2.7% on the 10-year government bond yield. That's great. That's good. That's tasty. In comparison, right? It's not the sexiest thing, but in comparison, we've got to look at this together a minute. Look at where we were, you know, previously. You know, we've come down to as low as 0.33%, or okay, even here, 0.5%. But now getting 2.7%. You know, obviously, look, don't get me wrong, the rate at which inflation's rising at the moment could somewhat eat into that, but this is getting tasty now. So you can understand why we're seeing dollar strengthen the way it is, right? Because people want to get their hands on dollars so they can invest in this. You can understand why Bitcoin of late has come under a little bit of pressure because the big boys are taking some cash out and they want to put it into safe haven. They want to put it into government bonds where they're going to get stable yield. None of this crazy 200% spikes to the upside and to the downside for their portfolio's sake, right? We don't mind, right? We invest what we afford to lose, and we put our money into cryptocurrency. But these big boys will want to be a little bit more risk averse in comparison to us, much so. So anyway, yields are rising there in the US, okay? And that's obviously in tandem with the dollar. Yen's coming under pressure. So when you see yields in the US rising drastically as well, US yields, you see yen come under pressure, okay? People coming out of the yen, okay? Because yen, you're not getting anything in Japan on your yield. It's like negative still. You're not getting anything. So big players out of Japan drop all their cash and be like, fuck that motherfucker. Go and stick their money in the US, okay? So that's just a little bit of economics 101 for you there, baby girls and baby boys. Yeah, I mean, I've got a few things to talk about next week, but I'll just save it for next week. A few videos to break down. There's a couple of projects that I'm looking at that are quite really exciting in the crypto space while we're in this bear market, okay? People keep asking me, speaking to someone the other day by my pool, right? My neighbor. And he's like, do you think I should keep buying right now? And I'm like, at the end of the day, you invest in what you can afford to lose in terms of on a cryptocurrency front. It may be, I said to him, like, you got to think it may be a while before we return to these all-time high levels, right? It may be a little while. You just got to be patient. If you're happy to dip buy on these current areas, then so be it. I'm not a financial advisor, but I do load up because I know one day I am a long-term holder, but one day in the next, say 3-4 years, I know we're going to be a lot higher than where we're at now, and I know we're going to go and be at all-time highs. All-time highs. Yeah, in the next 3 years, why not? So it's up to you what you can afford to put aside. What I used to say, if you're a new trader, if you're a new investor, a rule of thumb, something that's worked really well for me, how I've been able to compound my gains over the years, is, so when I was in a full-time job, every week without fail, I will deposit cash into, so obviously I traded as well. I was building up my trading account, but in my investment account, right, my stocks portfolio, so in your stocks, but now obviously cryptocurrency is a big thing. So in your cryptocurrency portfolio, if it's $50 or $100, whatever you can set aside that you can afford, just do it every week religiously, without fail, secondhand nature, and you'll see the accumulation down the line. You will thank yourself down the line for it. And then eventually you can start compounding those gains, that any returns that you're getting, you can increase as your salary goes up, or as you make more money from your side hustles. Start putting it into and invest. Fast money, slow money. Your slow money is your investment money. Your fast money obviously is your salary. Your fast money is if you're speculating in the markets, if you're trading like I do, that's your fast money. But don't just think about today. Don't just think about tomorrow. Don't just think about this week. Think about the coming months. Think about in the coming years, and you will thank yourself for it. I thank myself still to this day because I'm financially sound, because I did the right things eventually after messing around through my early 20s. But from sort of mid to late 20s, I thank myself today. For any of those that don't know, I'm 30, but I thank myself because I did the right shit that I just said, right, about invest. Any little money you have, put it in, man. Put it in. Hey, Luciana, how you doing? Happy Sunday, baby. Should be too loud. It's quite late here in Dubai. Mike, how you doing, brother? Hope you're well. Ken, just to be clear, if inflation goes up, dollar goes up. Thanks, bro. Great videos. Yes, if inflation goes up, as I said this week, keep an eye on that. If that inflation number does come out higher, yes, we are going to see dollar continues to strengthen because the markets are being so aggressive right now with pricing in this FOMC action. They're aggressive as F. So expect that to support dollar to the upside. If you are a cryptocurrency guy, if you're speculating cryptocurrency, expect cryptocurrency to come down, Bitcoin appears to come down as well. Okay, so that's what I'm sort of noting here. Then we're going to see a pullback and we're going to sell dollar. Maybe it's at the open that we see this little pullback here, sort of Monday, Tuesday, right? Retest this top area here. Look, top. We broke out of that top, but we need to come down for a little bit. Retest, bit of profit taking, and we push to the north, okay? Just as I'm saying there on the cryptocurrency front as well, to see Bitcoin as it is at the moment. You know, we're seeing a bit of a push to the north, but then we sell, you know, and it sort of just works on the inverse to the dollar right now, okay, because we're thinking FOMC trade. That's just the thing at the moment. And I guess the something that doesn't help the cryptocurrency market right now as well is still what's going on in Ukraine and Russia. It's devastating, but it doesn't help risk appetite. So yeah, that as well. No worries, Mike. Hope you are blessed. So yeah, guys, that's everything right now. So as I say, if you're a stocks guy, if you're a cryptocurrency guy, if you're a forex guy, just keep in your head this week, US inflation, okay? Keep that in your mind. Observe what happens with those numbers because that's going to have an impact across the board. Other than that, that's it from me. Stay lit, stay blessed.